your hands. Wave them at them bitches hating on you with their friends. Girl, you got it.
Hey, it's your girl Josie, and I'm back with another video. I don't know when I'm gonna post this, but my dance video just went up. I hope you guys liked it. I know it's been a while since my last dance video, but again, I hope you guys liked it. Cute little something, little vibe. But this is gonna be a video. I want to talk about how social media has just like ruined I would say how it's just ruined the aspect of like relationships and love and expectations and that whole thing. Obviously, if you watch YouTube, certain YouTubers and certain things, like, you follow along with people's journeys. I just watched the Catherine, the Call Her Daddy podcast. There's like the whole thing on TikTok going around right now with not like Nazanin and Mel and all these things. But there's like certain people that I'll watch that I feel like are more relatable to. Obviously, you watch who you feel is more relatable to you. At the end of the day, I feel like no relationship is perfect. I feel like that is just a facade. We all go through the highs, the lows, good, bad, ugly, financial, like you go through it, you know, like keep it real, keep it raw, keep it authentic. And yeah, I just think the ideas people have of like, oh, like this picture perfect relationship, no arguing, and I don't know, just like all among stuff like that. Like, I just feel like that is such a facade. And yeah, but so I just want to talk on that. My little water bottle. I just feel like when it comes to social media, a lot of people have somewhat like unrealistic expectations when it comes to relationships, or I feel like a lot of women like are so involved and heavily invested into certain influencers and content creators, and I feel like people also have to realize certain things are done specifically for like views. Like, okay, like I'm gonna do this and people are gonna watch it, it's monetized, I'm gonna make money off of it. Cool. Like, sometimes people do things, these big, extravagant, all these crazy things, sometimes specifically for views, which I feel like when you're in that realm, I feel like that can kind of fuck with you, because then it's like, is this person doing this because like they're being genuine, or is it because they're doing it because for content, you know? But yeah, I just feel like that expectation of this like glamorous, always gotta be big and doing like all these extravagant things. Cool. I feel like cool, you know, the once in a while little, but I feel like it doesn't always have to be big and extravagant. You know what I'm saying? I feel like with women, it's always like the little things. But obviously, you want to feel valued, appreciated, respected, cared for, loved, heard. You know what I'm saying? And just feel like, you know, like you matter, you know? Like, okay, this person loves me, this person thinks about me, they actually care for me, they respect me as a human being. So I just feel like I'm saying like I feel like a lot of women have this like false perception. I feel like that could alter with some people of like, oh well, I'm dating this person and this is what I expect, or this is expected, and it's like you just started dating. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I believe not all relationships are peaches and cream. And I definitely do think social media does play a role. In regards to social media, okay, say you're in a relationship and you're watching this couple, right? I feel like it can create comparison. You know what I'm saying? Where if you're in a relationship or you're talking to somebody and then you're watching this and then like that's constantly being like fed to you and you're like, oh shit, well, that doesn't happen for me, or I don't do this and they don't do this and this, and then it creates this like, you're just comparing. You know what I'm saying? When it's like at the end of the day, it's your relationship. You shouldn't be comparing things. So yeah, like people could compare their relationship to other people's relationships, and then you kind of feel like what the fuck, which that you shouldn't even be doing that. Like I said, at the end of the day, your relationship is your relationship, and I feel like a lot of people also have to remind themselves like, you create the standards for yourself, you create the standards for your relationship, you create boundaries to cater to you, what you're gonna allow, what you're not gonna allow, what you want your relationship. Are you gonna be committed one-on-one? Are you open? Are you like, you make the standard, you set the boundaries for your relationship. Whether you're just dating, whether you're in a committed relationship, whether you're in a committed relationship but you guys are open, whether, you know what I'm saying, like you're single and you're focusing on yourself, or you're single and you're figuring out what you want and you are talking to multiple people and going out and figuring out what you want, what you like. You create the standards, you create the boundaries. So you can't be in a relationship and compare yourself to this couple, or you're, you know, just freely dating and then you're comparing yourself to other people. Like you got to stop comparing, you know? And I feel like if you're a person that's on social media like that, you can easily be persuaded. I feel like social media can, like I said, if you're people that you're on social media like that, it can create this miscommunication and this distrust, and just, you're on social media and maybe you see your partner liking certain things or sharing, sorry, I'm doing laundry and it just went off, or like sharing certain things, or like you're just in that like immaturity kind of phase and like throwing subliminals. And that's why I said like social media sometimes is like it's different for everybody, and it's different for people's like just where your mentality is at. So you could see maybe your partner liking certain things, or you're doing something and your partner doesn't like that. But then, like I said, that's where it's like communication and setting your boundaries, what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want, what you're going to allow, what you're not going to allow. And it's like if you set your boundaries and somebody keeps abusing and crossing those boundaries and you're communicating that to them, and I feel like if somebody's being apologetic and is willing to work and you're both willing to work, it's like at the end of the day, you both gotta want it. You know what I'm saying? Then I feel like, okay, there's room for growth, there's room for work here, there's room for, like, you're gonna try to make it work. Versus, but then you do have people where, okay, my boundaries were crossed and that's it. They're not willing no more. Like I said, you both have to want it, you both have to be willing to put in the work. Not like, okay, you're dating somebody and they crossed a boundary, you vocalize that to them, you guys communicate, and they're not apologetic, they don't give a fuck, they're still gonna do them at the end of the day. And it's like, at that point, maybe I would say to remove yourself if you're not being heard and respected and your needs aren't like being heard. Sometimes I feel like people, not all, but I feel like sometimes people do throw in the towel quick. Not all, because there are situations where people, it's like a repetitive thing where things are constantly just being, you're just being disrespected and violated and you're not being heard, you're not being valued, you're not being seen. Completely get it. Then I'm gonna agree, remove yourself. And like move on. But if it's, like I said, something where you're both still willing to put in the work and it's both still what you want and you're, you know what I'm saying, then it's like, okay, there's possibility here. I feel like sometimes you have to go through things to figure out, like, it's fucked to say, but it's like, okay, is this what I want? Is this not what I want? you're figuring yourself out. Like, at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we're in this mix of life, and we're trying to figure out, like, do I want to work this job? Do I like this? Do I like that? Do I want kids? Do I not want kids? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all figuring ourselves out, and I feel like there is points where you do have to give one another grace. But like I said, when it's like a repetitive thing, and things are just, it's just not aligning, then yeah. Another thing, like I said, if you're a person that's constantly on their phone, constantly scrolling, you're worried about, oh, this person just posted this, oh, this person just posted that, and you're just like so invested, and you're not even focusing on yourself, what you got going on. If you are in a relationship, like, what y'all got going on, and it just becomes like a distraction. You're so heavily invested into your phone that you're forgetting about like what's around you. A distraction sometimes could be a good thing or a bad thing, but in this case, it's a bad thing, because then you're forgetting about your own surroundings, what you got going on, and then you're like neglecting people around you, your partner. And then I feel like that's where a disconnect can happen, and then fuckery happens, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then boundaries and stuff is crossed, and yeah, it just creates this like, I don't know, just like space for bullshit. Yeah, there's a lot of pros and cons with social media. Pros being like doing this, making content, awareness type videos, and just sharing things that you love, but there's a lot of cons with it when you're so heavily invested in it. You gotta just have a balance of things. A lot of people don't know how to balance. You have this is what I mean in regards to balance. Here's a good example. You have parents that give screen time. You have parents that are completely against screen time. You have people that are in the middle where it's like, okay, you get a little bit of screen time, you have a little bit of outdoor time, you have a little bit of learning activities. I'm in the middle. Let's do a little bit of everything. I feel like we're also in a very heavily technological era. Kids in schools now have computers, iPads. I'm not going to deprive my child of something that is necessary for the era that we're in. You know, like, I'd rather my child know how to use a tablet. I'd rather my child be familiar with things versus trying to be in this like non-technological era. I feel like you're kind of hurting your child in a way, because like I said, we're in this big technological era, like AI and all remote jobs and hybrid jobs. And like I said, another thing is like, there's a lot of people that feel that way, but they work remote. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're on a computer for 8 hours. So it's kind of like a little hypocritical in a way, because you're on a device. I don't know why people are so like black and white, like, oh, none of this, none of that. Or even like when it comes to like nutrition and people that you balance. Okay, I'm gonna have my carbs, my fats, my proteins, get in my micronutrients, have my fruits, my veggies. Okay, I ate this yesterday and I'm trying to be good, I'm gonna eat this today. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I had some juice yesterday, today I just want to drink water. Like, what's wrong with having balance? And I feel like that's what keeps you on the journey. Like, it actually makes it like a good habit, a good lifestyle, and you're able to keep going. Versus people that want to do these diets and it's like, okay, I'm going to completely cut out carbs, no bread, no pasta, no potatoes, no rice, no this. And then, or I'm not going to eat this, and da-da-da-da. And then once they start adding those things back in, and you slowly gain the weight, and it's this whole repetitive like cycle of, now obviously your body's holding on to more water weight, and you are going to gain some weight back. And it's just not a good habit of completely being so black and white and cutting things out. And yeah, I'm very big on balance. Like, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of everything, things in moderation. Yeah. So like I said, when it comes to social media, you're on social media a little bit, all right, I'm good. I'm a chill. oh, I'm gonna post this, I'm good, I'm off. Like, be more aware. There's people that are super heavily invested into their phones and they're always worried about the next person and they're in everybody's business. And I feel like those are people that they genuinely don't have anything going on for themselves. And it's kind of sad because it's like, there's so much to do in this world. There's so many like hobbies you could have and interests. And for some reason, people don't explore that, you know? Or people are so caught up in just like working all the time or being so heavily invested into just like I said, like corporate lifestyle and being daddy, being mommy, and they just forget who they are and they get like lost in the process. Unrealistic expectations where, like I said, you see, oh, it's this person's 23rd birthday and their man did this big extravagant thing and now it's their 24th birthday and it's this big extravagant thing and they're taking me there and like, cool. But it's like, if, like I said, if you just started dating somebody, why have those expectations of something that's like somebody's been with somebody, like you're seeing it on social media and they've been with that person for like how many years and you just started dating somebody, like why have that super high set expectation for somebody you're just still getting to know, you know? Okay, this one, okay, this is a good one. This is like privacy concerns. Oh yeah, that's such true. Like, obviously you have like apps and sites where then people will like spy on their partners and it just can create this whole cesspool of like toxicity and like not like trust. And I feel like sometimes I just feel like if you can't communicate properly, I feel like those are the people that do go to that extent. I feel like that's like a red flag right there. Like if you can't communicate with somebody without them getting upset or without you like going crazy, that's like a red flag. Like communication is literally key. If you're concerned about something, they have that value and respect for you. Like, okay, these are the details. This is what's up. Versus you having to go like to all these extreme lengths and creating fake pages and I don't know, people even like pay for like spying services and all this stuff and like all these sites, and it's just like you shouldn't have to do that. If you're with somebody that loves and respects you and wants the best for you. But then again, sometimes it is good in a sense because then that's like closure for some people of like, okay, I found out what I needed to know and that's it. You're not willing to work and this person's not willing to work, so bye. So yeah, I feel like social media in general could just create like a whole mistrusting because then, like I said, depending where your mindset and your mentality is, like where you're at in life, you have people that, oh, this person's liking this person's liking that, this person's commenting, it just becomes this whole, like I said, this whole like cesspool of like just immaturity and just toxic and just like, why? You know? I don't know, man. Okay, mental health. Obviously, I've said this in a previous video. Like, if you're excessively on social media and your algorithm is literally constantly pushing bullshit at you, I expect you to be like, you to have anxiety and for you to be depressed and you to have like all these mixed emotions because you're literally on a device, neglecting the world around you, and on top of it, if your algorithm is just constantly pushing, like spewing bullshit at you, like that's why I said in the one video, like make sure you interact and like things that you actually like. Like if you're into working out, make sure you like those workout videos and those health and fitness tips, so that's being fed to you. Versus, I don't know, toxic memes and stuff that you might see, or just stupid toxic skits or whatever. And then you're just like, you're on your phone and you're like, man, what the fuck is that? Like, and then you're on your phone and then all of us, you have all this anxiety and this emptiness in you and this loneliness or this depression. And then, like I said, you're comparing yourself to other people and people around you or other relationships and just all this stuff. When it doesn't need to be that deep, you know? So my last sip of water. Like, certain things don't have to be that deep, and I feel like that's where a lot of people go wrong with relationships, is they don't know how to properly communicate. They don't know how to set standards for themselves for their relationship. They don't know how to set boundaries, know when a person being is genuine, being disgenuine. I don't know, just knowing where you stand as a person overall and not getting lost in the mix of bullshit. It also, I feel like social media really normalized being toxic. Like, people think that's funny, think it's cool. Sharing, I see like people that share like toxic memes and just all this whole toxicity, and it's just like, that's not cool, that's not funny. Like I said, like, it comes to a point where it's like, okay, you like damn near 30 now and you like still think that that's cool, that's funny, you sharing like toxic shit. Like, grow up, you know? How about you worry about like what your wallet is looking like, or like what your living situation looks like, what your environment looks like, the people you keep around you. Like, worry about that versus, oh, I'm on Instagram and I'm sharing stupid stuff. Like, I don't know. I just never understood that. Like I said, I feel like we've all gone through phases of oversharing. Not all. I'm not going to talk for all. But I definitely had a point where I was always posting on social media and not like overly sharing, but like sharing memes, and or you're mad at somebody and then you're sharing a meme and like just subliminals. Like, come on. Like, after a while it's like, okay, for what? I don't need to be doing that. People don't need to know my business. I don't need to make myself look bad or like an idiot, or, you know, not that you care what people think, but I'm just saying, like, it's just so unnecessary. Learn to like sit with yourself, sit with your emotions, sit and communicate properly, versus the people that just like jump and go to social media. Get a journal. What's wrong with journaling? Just, okay, I have this thought, and if you have nobody to share it with, write it down. At least it's like out of your brain. You know what I'm saying? Versus typing it out on social media that your family sees it, your friends see it, and then all people are creating this like narrative and this perception, and it's just like, just for what, you know? That, like, back to like the whole social media and the whole Nazanin and Mel, if you follow them and all that. Like, even that, obviously we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, whatever. I feel like they always spoke highly of one another. And at the end of the day, their life, their marriage, their family, their kids, whatever, you know? At the end of the day, you follow people because you like their content. I feel like people who follow people because they're like strictly a couple and you're so invested into this couple and you're like kind of living through them, that's just not like healthy, you know? But at the end of the day, like I said, relationships, everybody goes through things. People go through things, just everyday life, your own individual. Having kids in a mix makes it more complicated. So I feel like in her situation, like I said, she probably went to social media out of like just frustration, and instead of, like I said, sitting with yourself and, like I said, journaling, or if you have somebody close that you need to talk to or sharing something with, versus going to social media. And then now it's like you have people, obviously she has a big following, she's been on YouTube for years and years and years. You have people like creating this narrative now and like kind of like diminishing your character in a way, just like disrespecting you, disrespecting your partner, and saying like hurtful things towards her, hurtful things towards him. And it's like you're leaving leeway, especially if you're not even addressing it right then and there. You're leaving like that leeway for people to create all these false narratives and like pick away at your character, versus, okay, I'm gonna sit with myself, I'm gonna figure this out, boom, 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 not acting out of emotion, and coming to social media in a correct way if you're gonna address it, or if you're not gonna address it and you're gonna leave things offline. Like, it is what it is. So I feel like that's where she kind of messed up a little bit. People have all these expectations and you're like idolizing people and things like that. And it's literally not always how it seems, you know? And then when people say, oh, well, for example, like, it's family, okay, we're getting divorced, we're breaking up, blah, 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 or people going through things, and it's just like, people are like heartbroken, and it's like, I get it, but why, at the same time, why are you like so heavily invested to where you feel affected? You could be on social media and not overshare. You could be on social media and not have to put everything out there. You could be on social media and keep certain things private. Like, everybody doesn't need to know every single detail about you just because maybe you do want to pursue social media or content creation. Just post your content and get off. Or if you're on social media just to stay connected with family and friends, cool. Like, but people, I feel like people really have to work on not acting out of emotion and not always going right to social media. It just creates this whole like immaturity, toxicity, leeway of just for bullshit. Okay, yeah, I pretty much said this, like positive aspects to social media, like maintaining connections with people, sharing interests with people, raising awareness to things, just being like-minded and relatable with people, sharing, like, I think I pretty much just said, like, sharing interests and having a platform to, like, share business ideas or sharing your talents with your following. I feel like the people that do have really high expectations for certain things are, not always, but I feel like a lot of people that they're in this like immaturity mindset and they have these expectations. Those are like the people that really do be on social media a lot and comparing themselves to other people and other situations, when it's like, at the end of the day, focus on you, worry about what you got going on. Have your standards for yourself, have your boundaries if you're in a relationship or marriage, whatever, like have your standards for you, what you expect, standards for your relationship, boundaries for your relationship. Always vocalize yourself how you feel. Like if you're with somebody and you feel like you're not being heard and you can't vocalize yourself, I feel like that's a red flag right there, because this is somebody you're with. It's supposed to be your partner. If you're serious and you're working towards a marriage or like something lifelong, you should have those, like that comfortability to come to somebody, versus I don't feel comfortable, I don't want to make somebody upset, I don't want to cause an issue, and a person you're with should never take it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like they should have that much respect and value for you, to where they want to make sure you're good. They want to make sure you're feeling validated and heard and understood. And at the end of the day, they're not going to cross no boundaries, you know? And vice versa. But like I said, at the end of the day, you create your standards, you set your boundaries, you set the tone. You yourself, you with your partner, partners, whatever people got going on, you know what I'm saying? Like, you set it, not society. Yeah, that was pretty much this video. Like, don't believe everything you see on social media. At the end of the day, like I said, we're all human. You create the standards, you create the boundaries. Be mindful, give people grace, but also know, like, you're not to be played with either, you know? Like, I feel like people just gotta do inner work and stop worrying about what you see on social media and comparing yourselves and comparing your journey with other people's journey or your relationship with other people's, like, worry about you. Worry about what you got going on. I'm telling you, when you do that, life becomes, like, focused. I just be coming and chatting. I'm in my robe, no makeup, no nothing. Like, this is just real raw. When people, like I said, you idolize all these celebrities, influencers, content creators, and like I said, you don't really know what's going on behind closed doors, no matter what people, like, whatever picture they're trying to paint. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really know what's going on. So I feel like when people are just sitting here and comparing themselves to like certain people, certain situations, it's like you don't really know what people be doing, you know? Just like, you know, the whole like Diddy case and all this like fuckery coming out. Worry about you, and that's it. Cause all this crazy stuff be coming out with people, and when people got money and they're in this position of like power, or nobody would think twice, and like they put off this like cheesy perception of themselves, like goody, and then all this drama comes out, or people come out about stories and this and that, and then people don't believe them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's this whole thing. So it's like, don't be idolizing and comparing and all that. Worry about you, what you got going on. Be confident. Work on yourself, and that's it. Don't worry about the whole social media and oh, this couple and this celebrity. Who cares? But yeah, that was this video. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. I'm definitely going to be doing more dance content, of course. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.